Hello, and welcome to another Leon Turetsky podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how to use intuition to learn anything. And this comes from the book, the lessons that I'm going to be talking about. It comes from the book, The Inner Game of Tennis. If you're watching me on video, I'm holding it up. It's a small book. It talks about how to use, the inner game, your intuitive game, in order to learn how to play tennis better. Of course, what's great about this book is that it's not really about tennis. You can apply this to anything. You can apply it to learning a new language, a new sport, a new business skill, even how to be more social or communication skills, or just connecting with your inner guidance in order to learn or get better or improve in anything in your life, all right? And so I'll give you three main takeaways from this book of how you can use this intuition in your daily life. And I just want to say the main premise of the book is that our best learning and our best performance happens when we go beyond the mind, when we're not overly thinking about everything. I'll just read you a quick passage here in the beginning, just so you can see, kind of the main premise of the book. It says here, reflect on the state of mind of a player who is said to be hot or playing in the zone. Is he thinking about how he should hit each shot? Is he thinking at all? Listen to the phrases commonly used to describe a player at his best. He's out of his mind. He's playing over his head. He's unconscious. He doesn't know what he's doing. The common factor in each of these descriptions is that some part of the mind is not so active. Athletes in most sports use similar phrases, and the best of them know that their peak performance never comes when they're thinking about it. So the main lesson here is stop thinking about it. Again, I think in our society, in our culture right now, the idea of thinking about everything and trying to create everything from the mind is actually very limited, okay? We're forgetting that we have certain natural instincts in us already that allow us to learn better. So let's get to the three takeaways. The first takeaway is basically not allowing your thinking conscious mind to override your natural abilities or your intuitive mind or your subconscious mind. In the book, he talks about two selves. He talks about self one, which is your thinking conscious mind, and then he talks about self two, which is basically your intuitive, your subconscious mind. And the idea is that you don't want to let your self one, your conscious mind, to be the predominant factor when you're learning something or you're trying to improve something. Instead, just allow your self two to come through, because there are some natural instincts, some natural abilities it has that it doesn't learn by thinking. It doesn't do that. It needs to feel things. It's intuitive. It's very much about connecting with how you yourself, your personal style of learning is, and that cannot happen from the mind-created self. It has to come from your subconscious, which knows how to learn best on its own if you leave it alone, if you allow it to do its thing. It talks about the art of relaxed concentration. You're concentrating, but you are not judging it, okay? Which is very important as well. So basically, that's the first point, is don't allow your self one to override your self two when you're learning. Let's go to the second takeaway, and that is not to judge things as good or bad. Just be aware of what is happening. So it talks about, of course, in the book, there's a lot of examples about how to learn tennis. So let's say you're learning how to do a forehand, which is basically just how to hit a ball. If you don't play tennis, doesn't matter. So let's say you're learning how to hit a ball. When you hit the ball, don't judge that shot and don't talk down to yourself if you make an error, basically. Just observe what is happening. Be more relaxed. One of the terms it talks about is non-judgmental awareness. Again, you're not allowing your self-one to talk down to you, because self-one will start to, berate yourself. Like it starts talking negatively whenever something goes wrong. And a lot of times, we'll miss a shot or whatever. We make some error when we're learning something, and self-one, our conscious mind, will be like, oh, you're so stupid. Why are you can't learn anything? How is that going to help yourself too, your intuitive self, to learn better when you're like, basically talking down to yourself? So you want to get to a point of non-judgmental awareness. So when you are making an error, and you will make errors as you learn something new, or you'll do it in a way that you that is not ideal. So you want to improve in something. The point then is not to judge yourself when things go wrong. Instead, just have this awareness of what happened, and then you can improve on that and try again. The idea is to use repetition, but when something goes wrong, don't judge it as good or bad. Even when the shot goes really well, even when you do something good, it's also important to not cling to the good thing as described in the book. I personally think that you do want to sort of have an awareness that something that the shot did go your way. I think that does help you kind of groove the pattern. I think that is important to notice when things go well. But in the book, it talks about don't cling too much to either good or bad. Just observe what is happening non-judgmentally, so you can kind of learn and observe what is happening, and then your intuitive self will learn eventually how to do it correctly over time. But again, the key is non-judgmental awareness. Third takeaway from this book, and that is allow the natural learning instinct by feeling or experiencing it instead of thinking about it. This is crucial, and also me being a dancer, I found this to be true. I learn best when I'm doing especially something physical like dancing by feeling the movement and feeling the music, rather than if I'm dancing in my head and I'm thinking about it all the time. That's not when I do my best recollection of movements and dance techniques. The best way to learn is to feel it. One of the best things you can do is, for example, if you're learning something physical, like a sports thing, like tennis or dancing or anything like that, is to be in your body, okay? Have that relaxed concentration. Feel like as you are doing it, you are, breathing. You have some part of your awareness still in your body, on your breath, so that as you're doing the movements, you're also really feeling it and you're embodying it fully. You're engaging your entire body in the learning process instead of just one part of your body, which is your head, okay? So a lot of people just, when they're doing things, they're just like, they use this one part of their body and ignore everything else, which, if you think about it, doesn't make sense at all. You also have your nervous system, which learns by repetition, and it's very, very intelligent if you leave it alone to do its thing. The key is not to get stuck in your mental activity, in your head, okay? So that's very, very important. Allow things to happen by experiencing it. Also using imagery and visualization. It talks about visualizing the desired outcome, okay? And then letting your instinct take from there. That can help as well. So these are three main takeaways that I got from this book. Again, this can be applied to anything really. And it's just another reminder to sort of get out of our heads, and that the mind is still very limited. And if you really want to be creative, if you want to learn in a faster way, in a better way, you really need to trust your own intuitive abilities and not just, think about things or analyze things all the time. And this book also reminded me of another book that I recommend, which is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, which talks about kind of the same thing of not getting stuck in the mental activities, but being more in the body when you do things, and being more present without judging things as good or bad, as a general way to even live life. I think that's applicable as well. So, that's all I got for this podcast for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, leave us or like us, leave us a review. If you were listening to this on iTunes or YouTube, leave us a review on iTunes. Leave us a comment if you're watching on YouTube, and tell a friend about this podcast. And I'll talk to you guys next time.